Hello, everyone. Joe Kralachek with Century 21 Morrison Realty, Bismarck, North Dakota. We are very excited to be bringing you this great information that is hot in this market. I have with me today Tay Machner with Dakota Community Bank and Trust in Bismarck. I have also with me Mike Wilson, Certified Home Inspector in Bismarck, and I'm sure those names are recognizable to you, as well as Century 21 Morrison, the #1 brokerage in the tri-state area. We are also number 22 in the nation out of 2,200 Century 21 real estate offices. Woo! So we are hot, just like the market. So let's get into it. Again, welcome. Housekeeping information, just at the end of the presentation, we will have question and answer. Of course, you can always reach out to us by phone, by email, whatever you want to do, texting, we answer them all. So we are going to start with Tay, and she is going to talk about financing, and we'll let her kind of take it from here.
Hello there, I am Tay Machner from Dakota Community Bank and Trust. I've been with them since 2013. My favorite part of my job is educating home buyers on their largest investment. I actually purchased my first home at 18 years old. I'm a pug mom. I enjoy traveling, concerts, and eating, not cooking anymore, just the eating part. And I love wine, dark red wine. So we'll cover a little bit of the timeline of selling and buying. We are presenting on this today because the process of selling and buying can be complicated. So the more informed you are, the smoother this process can go. There's a lot of moving pieces, so you'll want to make sure that that'll go smooth for you on your transaction. So the thought popped in your head that it might be time to move into the next place you call home. You could have seen, a wonderful ad, scrolling on Facebook, and you were like, well, I want that home. So where do we start? So you should start by contacting a local loan officer. That will make sure that you're not wasting any time. Know what you're comfortable with for a monthly payment. You're the only one who knows what would be comfortable for you. The online applications are available and take just a matter of minutes.
Should we see? Hold on one second, everyone. We might have, I'm not sure if we're able to see the presentation. So I know I have an attendee out there. Are you seeing the screen? You can actually go in your chat box and mention if you are seeing the current screen where it says, where do we begin? I just want to make sure that the correct screen is up there. And I'm not sure if you're able to, but if you can go to your chat box, which is on the lower part of your screen, just take your cursor and move it down there, and up will come a bunch of tools. One of them is called the chat box. Just tell me if you are seeing a slide it says, where should we begin? Is that going to work? Should be working.
Okay, I can go scroll through that a little bit.
All right, guys, thank you for your patience. Okay.
So we're presenting because it could be a little complicated. That this is the process, more so a little bit of a timeline of what you're supposed to do after you get that thought of you possibly want a new home. And then, so where should you begin? I recommend beginning with a local loan officer. We'll have the best knowledge on the programs in the area. We've got online applications as well. So it just takes a few minutes to fill those out. So what will you need for documentation for pre-qualification? So I recommend having your documents ready in PDF form. They're easy to send securely over to your loan officer. Below are some of the documents that we need that gives us a really good picture for finances. Be a couple years of tax returns, W-2s, pay stubs, and bank statements. After you have your pre-qualification application submitted, I would recommend to reach out to your real estate agent so you can find out how much your home could sell for. You'll sit down with them and discuss with them what you're looking to purchase. When you're pre-qualified and your equity is calculated, you'll be able to figure out the loan amount that is best for you. From where your equity is calculated, you'll be able to see how much money you can put down on your new purchase. And after you find that loan amount, it is time to list your home. So how fast can this process take from beginning thought to maybe selling your home and buying a new one? It can take as little as 6 to 8 weeks to sell your home and get into a new one with a standard mortgage buyer. If someone who wants to purchase your home is a cash buyer, the process could take as little as a week. So be ready to move quickly when you begin this process. Can you purchase a home without selling your current home? Yes, that is definitely a possibility. You'll have to make sure you qualify with the current mortgage payment, your new mortgage payment, and then if you would need a loan to get your equity out of your home, your current home, for that down payment on the new purchase, there are loan products for that. So then you'll have 3 separate payments that you'd have to be comfortable with in order to purchase a home before selling your current one. So how do I get the best deal? So a 740 credit score puts you in the best position for mortgage interest rates. That is the highest tiering credit score. The higher your credit score, the better your mortgage insurance will be. As long as you reach out to your insurance agent as well early in the process, they'll be able to have time to find the best the best insurance for your home and find the best carrier for what you need as well. A lot of the questions that I get revolve the down payment on a home loan. So the minimum down payment for a conventional loan is 5%. I've put in here some examples of what the 5% looks like with different purchase prices. So 5% can be pretty minimal, even up to a $500,000 purchase price. You know, $25,000 isn't all that much. So what is PMI? So private mortgage insurance is a very commonly used term. It is a privately backed company basically supporting you in purchasing that home to the bank or the lender that they're backing you if you were to default on the loan. So you would save, the PMI decision is, do you want to save up and have enough savings to put 20% down on a purchase, or would you rather get private mortgage insurance and purchase now? Private mortgage insurance, a lot of people can be fearful of it, thinking it could be a huge expense and would rather wait. That would be up to you, but I've also put in here some examples of how minimal mortgage insurance really can be. If we're looking at a $400,000 purchase price, even just 10% down, it's only $54 a month. So it can be really small of a payment and get you into that home a lot quicker than saving up for it. A question I get often is, does private mortgage insurance go away? It does. So on a conventional loan, you can have it removed at 80% loan to value, or automatically it goes away at 78% loan to value. So 80% loan to value would be as if you put 20% down. A 78% loan to value is as if you put 22% down. So how do I have the most buying power? It's very important in this market to have that, and Joe will explain why. But by being prepared with your pre-qualification and your purchase agreement that's in place on your current home, you'll have the most buying power. What is the least riskiest route when purchasing? I recommend that, like I said, that you have that purchase agreement on the sale of your home, and then going out to look at homes after you have that purchase contract on your sale. How does the domino effect? So you do not have to wait to sell your home to purchase, but a lot of times you need that current equity from the sale of your home to purchase. You do not have to wait until the sale has been completed to then start the process. They happen simultaneously. So you could sell your purchase at 9 a.m. and close on your, or excuse me, sell your home at 9 a.m. and close on your purchase at 10 a.m. just shortly after, as long as it happens in that order. So that means the person buying your home, their loan has to go smooth, and your loan on your purchase. So make sure that you're always staying on top of anything that your loan officer or your real estate agent would request from you. So the benefits of working with a local loan officer. So we keep our loan servicing in-house, which means your payments are made directly to the bank and no 1-800 numbers. We've been in the community for more than 80 years, and we plan on being here for many more. We have in-house processing and underwriters, so that means we make all of our loan decisions locally. We have the best education on the area, a good history in this area as well. And we also offer 24/7 communications. I hand out my cell phone number. You can contact me evenings and even weekends. A couple of things I just wanted to point out on what not to do is do not apply for any new credit, no credit cards, car loans, finance, furniture. If you do anything on these lists, please talk to your loan officer first. Don't close any credit accounts. Don't make any major purchases. Don't make any large deposits that you can't explain. Don't switch jobs. Don't liquidate funds. Don't get married or divorced without telling your loan officer. It does change everything on the application. And then don't hide anything from your loan officer, because we will find out. So just be as transparent as you can from the beginning of the process until the end. And here listed is how you can contact me. I'm email, cell phone, or I am at the round to big tall building by the mall down south. And we will take questions at the end.
All right, thank you, Tay. So I wanted to start with a market update. Right now, and this is really an incredible statistics, that 40% of all homeowners own their home free and clear. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a coming slide. Right now, it says here that the average sale price is $273,000 through $338,000. Actually, it has clipped upwards quite a bit. Last time I saw it here in the last few days, it's up to $312,000. And so the tick upwards for home values is even greater than 6%. That is all property types. Active listings, we have even less than 418. We have just shy of the plus side of 300 right now, and every day dropping. So average days on market, it's 52 days on market. That is average. In some price ranges, we are looking at 0 days on market. And so maybe perhaps in a higher price range, in the 700,000 plus price range, you still might have you will still have shorter days on market, but overall, because of the price range, it's going to be a little bit longer days on market. Year over year, we are actually higher than 17%. From 2020 to 2021, we are up even to 20% right now. This is just a kind of an idea on what is the value of a real estate agent. We are highly trained in contracts. We provide you all the legal contracts and disclosures that are required in a heavily regulated environment. One thing not mentioned here is that we are fully insured. If things were to go wrong related to the contract, it can come back to the brokerage, which is a huge bonus in legal liability coverage. We are well versed in real estate. We are experienced in the entire sales process. We're highly educated. Every year we go through an additional 9 hours of education. I personally have at least 15 hours of education in a given year. I'm an accredited buyer's representative as well, which gives me additional education to help my buyers. Negotiations, that's our thing. We love negotiating. We love making both sides in a win-win situation. We are the buffer. It can be a little bit of a stressful situation, and the real estate agent is the one that's in the middle. They are the calm, they're the calm force in the process. And of course, pricing. We're skilled in pricing. We know our market. We have the data that speaks to you in regards to where you want to be on your offer, where you want to be on your asking price, making sure that you're that you're fair market value. And so that is definitely a key element of utilizing a professional real estate agent. I went. Okay, so I want to do a quick overview of the home buying process. I do recommend, first of all, going visiting with your lender. At first, do a consultation with them, and then you're going to choose your real estate agent. How do you choose a real estate agent? You probably will talk to 2 or 3. You might be going to open houses. That might be a good way to introduce yourself and to get to know them a little bit. Ask around, get reviews, ask family and friends. There's always, that element of choosing a real estate agent where the biggest consideration is, are you comfortable with them? And so choosing a real estate agent is really a matter of who you are most comfortable with. After the consultation with the real estate agent, finding out what your wants and needs are, we're gonna, as the agent, we're gonna preview a lot of properties, and we're gonna send you the properties that meet your price range, that meet your wants and needs. We're gonna go out and look at homes, preview a lot of homes. We may not even preview a lot of homes. Sometimes we might preview only 5 homes, and one of those 5 is the one that you have fallen in love with. Make an offer on the property, negotiate the terms of the offer, agree on a final contract and the terms of the final contract, and then at that time you're giving that information, that the home that you've chosen, the contract information. We're consulting back to the lender, let them know that this is the home you've decided on. At that time, the lender is locking in rate. They're beginning that loan process. And then on our side, we're working through all of the contingencies. We're looking at the property condition statement. You are hiring a home inspector. Today, we also have Mike here, and he'll be talking a lot about that. So I'm going to kind of skim by that. We're going to negotiate repairs with the seller, making sure that you're comfortable with the repairs, that we're addressing soundness, safety, and security, and we're negotiating those repairs. So then after that point, there's a time like within 10 to 14 days where the contingencies are worked through. We've negotiated that, and then those contingencies expire. Then it's phase 2. Once those contingencies all expire, we are, excuse me, sorry about that. So at that point, the lender is ordering the appraisal. The appraisal is done on the home. From that point on, it goes to underwriting, the loan approval, that we begin to work with the title company. The title company is clearing title on the home you've purchased. They're making sure there's no liens or judgments or anything that is murky on the title, and so they're clearing that title. At that point, you are really going to close. You are being cleared with title, the loan is being processed, and we got a time set up for closing, and you bring the money for your home at closing. And that is the end of the home buying process. So I'm going to skip to the next page. It's a great time to buy right now, and I know that you all have heard this before, but to really put it into perspective, we have been at extremely high interest rates. Right now we're at 3%. We're a little bit higher than 3%, 3.2%, 3.2% right now. So it is clearly, you know, it's always the right time to buy real estate, but this graph kind of shows it into perspective between, was last year a good time to buy? Is this year a good time to buy? Or should we wait? So today your home is valued at 300. Let's say the home that you're purchasing is valued at 350. Last year might have been 301. We know values have clipped up, but interest rates have, you know, have actually ticked downwards, right? According to this slide, they're at 3.125%. So your payment is $21.90, but your equity is $135,000 today because the value of the home has gone up. Next year, anticipating a clip upwards on market values, we do know that interest rates are steadily climbing. Your equity next year is $118,000. So this kind of tells you that really now is a great time to buy. All right, so what are really the absolute musts when buying a home in a seller's market? First of all, you must be pre-approved with your lender and be given a letter stating so. And also you should know pretty much, you know, an estimated amount of what your closing costs are going to be. Those closing costs, your lender may tell you that you need some assistance from the seller. And so that is a discussion you and your lender will make. But those closing costs are yours and your responsibility. The second thing is to absolutely be licensed by a licensed real estate professional. And secondly, trust your agent. They've done this, they do this every day. We're highly experienced in many, many varied situations of real estate. And so the advice that we give you is based on our experience and our training. And the third is just kind of being flexible on some features of the home, which even if we were not in a seller's market, it is important to be flexible when you're buying a home. You're going to love most features of the home, but there's always going to be some things that are lower on your list that you are going to have some compromises. And so just keep that in mind as you're out there looking. You're going to find the home that you love, but with that, you're going to have some features that just maybe, you know, weren't on your list, but it's just part of the compromise. Also, as part of number 3, I said, you know, it's nice to be flexible on your closing dates. That is really important as a buyer. because the seller is also probably going to be buying a home. And so the flexibility on your part is going to be a key element to be attractive to the seller when you're presenting your offer, because that offer is going to talk about closing dates. 4, of course, you really must stay in your price range. We don't want you to go outside of your price range. And so that's a discussion that we have with you. What is your price range? Be a little flexible on your price, because right now you know that homes are going above ask. Just because they're going above ask does not mean that you are going above your price range. Shop your price range, but remember that if you're going above ask, that you want to make sure you're still in your price range. And really, one of the most important things you can do is to really present the best price possible the very first time, because you may not get another opportunity to present an offer. So that first offer is wearing your best dress to the prom. I mean, you are going to be out there comparing against perhaps one other buyer or even 9 other buyers. I have heard offers upwards of 15 offers on a given home. Excuse me. You must act quickly. That is a key element. If you love a home, be prepared to call your agent if you find it, or if your agent finds it. He or she is going to be calling you, or you're going to call them. I found this home, I gotta go look. So you're going to run to go and look at that home, and be prepared to make an offer right away, even that day. I need to take a swallow of water. So what I mean by presenting a cleanest offer as possible, those contingencies. So at this time, your agent's going to talk to you about what your comfort level is on the various contingencies. We're going to talk about the property condition statement, the home inspection. All those are conversations that we're going to have. So a contingency is a property condition statement. A contingency is a home inspection, also a radon test. Other contingencies might be approving the covenants in a subdivision. It might be approving the floodplain. Some of those things, just based on the location of your home, we can actually not even have as a contingency, because I can navigate that with you and show you that this is not a concern. For example, floodplains. That is something through FEMA that they have a website. We just punch in your address and we can show that you're not even in a floodplain, or if you are in a floodplain, clearly that's going to be a contingency and part of the discovery process. Larger earnest amounts are common right now. That usually you're seeing between $1,000 and $2,500 for an earnest money amount, and that is a conversation you're again going to have with your real estate agent. I have seen 1%, even more than that as your earnest money, but just to be prepared that you may want to consider a little bit more of an earnest money. And again, earnest money does come back to you at closing, okay? Very important is just being an informed home buyer. Read my home buyer's guide. It's quite a lengthy home buyer's guide. It goes through the entire process, but just make sure you're an educated home buyer and that your real estate agent, any information they give you on buying a home, that you read that information before you go out and just read everything on the internet. Take a little bit of that with a grain of salt. If you see something you hear, please go back to your real estate agent and ask, because ultimately they are the trained professional that knows that information. And last but not least, buying a home can be a little stressful, so be prepared for that. Sorry. I want to mention one thing about being the stress element, that again, going back to the real estate agent and your lender and your home inspector and your insurance agent, We do this every day. We're not under stress. We are, again, the calm professional guiding you through this process. So other little tips here for you: respect the seller's ability to find a home just like you are. You're buying a home, they might be selling this home to you, but they are also a buyer. So I always really encourage that element of respect for others' interests. Because when you do that, you win, because you are always compromising. We don't compromise on the must-haves, but there's always an element of compromise in order that you win and we all win at the closing table. Choose an agent who has a win-win attitude and understands the art of compromise. Home sale contingencies in some lower price ranges will be challenging. If you're below the $300,000 mark, you are competing against first-time home buyers, and they have no home to sell. Lastly, just be ready and prepared to negotiate. Trust your agent. They do this all the time. These are things that you might be negotiating on: time frame, closing costs, special assessments, the price. Anything can be up for negotiation. For example, closing costs. Let's say you're asking for $5,000 in closing costs. Maybe the seller is asking you to come back and to pay for half the closing costs. That could be one of their asks. So that is something that we're going to be maybe talking about in that process. Special assessments: you're buying a new home, special assessments are $20,000 on that home. That is definitely a point of negotiation and discussion. So I'm going to move into talking about selling. As a seller, you're going to expect maybe getting multiple offers on your home. Hopefully, we will get multiple offers on the home, but we definitely are seeing home values at ask or above asks. I read an article today. It said, look at your asking price as the reserve price if you were going to an auction. I don't know if anyone here has ever been to an auction, but there's always a reserve price at an auction. So what they're suggesting today is that the ask price is the bottom line price that seller is willing to offer on their home. I kind of talked about a few of these things already. How does a home sell in 0 days? I get that a lot from buyers, and I understand that question. How that happens is that when you work for a larger brokerage, we may know of a listing coming on the market an hour or two before. We may even know it the day prior. So when we are getting a heads up on an ideal home and an ideal price, we are calling all of our buyers, and so therefore it potentially could have an offer on the home when it goes in, and it has to be listed in the MLS, but it goes under contract right away. My best advice is, if you're buying a home and selling a home, you want to make sure your home is ready to go and able to get on the market within 3 days. And so the wealth effect of rising equity, you know, with that demand, it has driven up the price of homes. Play. I'm trying to play a video. All right, I'm going to skip past that part. Okay. All right, so sorry about that. Top must-dos when selling and buying at the same time. Remember, it's not for the faint of heart. Be represented by a realtor. They do this every day. I could go on and on about the stories that I have, and most often they're with for sale by owners. And for sale by owners don't often know that when they accept a purchase agreement and that buyer has a home to sell, that they don't put a deadline on how long they're going to give that buyer to sell their home. And so I had one here a couple of years ago, and you know, they were a private seller, but they didn't put any deadline on it. They took out a bridge loan, and so unfortunately 5 months later they're still paying on their loan. Like I've suggested to the buyers, as a seller, be flexible on your closing dates. As long as you know both the buyer and the seller are flexible, you should be able to come to terms with your closing dates. In an ideal situation, sell first so you do not have a home sale contingency. This market can be challenging with a home sale contingency. And so that would require that you're securing other living arrangements while finding a home. And there are ways to reduce handling on your possessions with pod storage. And without a home sale contingency, you're not buying and selling at the same time, which ultimately is more stressful. If you decide to buy first and then sell, my biggest advice is to make sure you are priced right for the market. Time is of the essence to the seller of the home you've purchased. They're not going to wait that long for you to sell your home. And so because time is important, you want to make sure you are fair market value, and your agent will help you through that. You may get an offer from a buyer who also has a home to sell. A common mistake is not putting a contractual deadline on their home, which I just mentioned. It must be listed in MLS for multiple reasons. I have had times when a private seller has let them go private seller or for sale by owner, which ultimately slows down the process. We highly recommend that it be listed in MLS. We are a solution maker. We are a solution provider. We are here to help you solve any problems that you have. We are the collaborator. We are the one that juggles lending, title, and even the other side of the transaction to protect your best interests. Trust your team of professionals. We have your back at all times. And so now I am going to hand it over to Mike Wilson. And
hi guys, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone's good and healthy in these times. I want to thank Joe for the opportunity to come on and invite me to these. Really good information here. And I also want you to know that there are a lot of hats that these realtors wear at any one time or multiple times. Anywhere between, just touching base with other professionals, organizing individuals, and making sure everything's going on time, making sure signatures are on paper when they need to be. That is the biggest thing that, for legal reasons, you really are wanting to make sure that's done. So definitely make sure we're taking care of that. So I, as a home inspector, come through property and inspect many different things. As a seller, not a bad idea to have a pre-inspection. What that does is it gives you an idea of where your house is as far as condition, and if there's any large ticket items that come up, you're aware of it. So then you know what has to be fixed before the sale can go through. I, as a certified inspector, look at 1,600 things, and you think there isn't that many things in the house. Trust me, we do a lot of looking. My reports have 40 pictures of everything between model numbers of appliances to data plates on furnaces and all that stuff. And again, we do uncover potential things that can be expensive, especially when you've negotiated down to your comfortable price. Now we have a problem with your furnace. Now we need to make sure that we get that taken care of so the buyer is going to be comfortable in it and we can move forward. Or if there's FHA or VA financing, there are things that requirements that have to be met in order for that financing to go through. So we want to be able to catch that so that process moves through. And just repair everything that's done. I also gave you an opportunity to, my normal inspection fee is $300. For a pre-sale home inspection, I charge $250, and then I give the other $50 bill to the potential buyer to walk through the property. And it takes about an hour to introduce them to the house. What's included, you know, grading, water management is so important in a property for long-term picture of the property. Foundation, siding, windows, trim, roof is so important, especially here in North Dakota. One of the things that we find is that if the contractors put the shingles on later in the fall, they don't necessarily seal. You get a strong wind like we've had before. A lot of people are losing their shingles and they're ending up in the street. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. Around all the kitchen appliances, make sure that those are all functioning well. And then, of course, interior structure. And the crack isn't necessarily a concern. We just got an, as a home inspector, I can tell what is more cosmetic or what is actual structural concern. And of course, plumbing, electrical, heating, and cooling. Attic insulation is important. Structure. If I could talk for 10 minutes on structure in an attic, I could. We want to make sure that the trusses and joists are in good condition without any cracking and stuff like that. Radon. Radon has been linked to lung cancer, and there is an EPA threshold of 4 picocuries per liter. It's a 4. For if you've got kids, if you got a basement, if you're buying a house in an area that has clay in it, those are houses that it's not a bad idea to get a radon test in, not only for your health, but when you decide to sell it, having that done makes it more attractive. So something to keep in mind with that. Now, on the full home inspection,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've done something about that.
Sorry about that.
So,
Oh, here, let me see.
So,
Trying to find.
there we are.
Okay.
So, when I go through the property for the new buyer, what I do is I talk about everything in the home. So I talk about the kitchen. We go through each individual room. We spend time in the utility room, in which I talk about the furnace, the water heater. If there's a humidifier, we go through all of those steps and how to maintain that. I teach you tips and tricks about the property that you may or may not know. I've been doing this for 12 years, and you know, the sign of a good professional is an individual who wants to share their knowledge so you don't have to go through that learning curve. And I want to do that for you. And that's where the tips and tricks about your home come into play. And I've had people who have had multiple homes, parents of kids that are buying homes that are still learning the things that I'm teaching. And of course, the overview of the home in the short and long-term conditions. Short-term could be painting or different repairs that need to be done. Long-term concerns may be water management and just being proactive individual when it comes to owning your home. So those are all things that I want to teach you. So for buyer's tips, be prepared for all the things that may need to be repaired in the home. It's not necessarily that you need everything exact the way it should be when it comes to, like, you know, trim work and all that other stuff on the inside. But we do need to make sure that the windows are functioning well and the electrical is fine and the plumbing is in good condition. When it comes to those type of big issues, those are the type of things we're looking at. The smaller things, especially in this type of market, we want to make sure that we take care of the bigger things, and the smaller things may be something that can be kind of taken care of on the side. On the seller, we want to make sure we are aware that larger things need to be repaired. If there are things that are a concern for some financing, FHA and VA, I've said that before, we need to make sure that the paint in exposed wood is taken care of. We have functional windows, all that other stuff, and other things that are requirements for those programs. Because if those aren't caught, the appraiser comes through, finds those things, they may shut down the financing until those things are done. So we want to make sure those are taken care of. And you know what? Not a bad idea just to budget for about 1% of the purchase price for getting the property ready for market. And that may be freshening up the paint. It may be just going ahead and getting that leaky faucet fixed or whatever. So we want to make sure that everything is ready to go. And one thing that you can do is get out of your car, come up to your house and just kind of look at it with new eyes. Walk around the outside of the house, look at the condition of the paint, look at the condition of the grading. Go inside and see if there's scuffs on the walls, and from new eyes, because that's the buyer's eyes. If there's things that you can catch already, that will make it more approachable for a new buyer, because when they walk in there, they're thinking that they're going to have to do it. Let's not put that on their mind. Make it easier, okay? So, yeah. Okay, well, so now one of the things I'd like to offer is I want to offer a free radon test for anyone who is listening to me now or in the future. Just mention to me when you schedule to just to say that you heard us on this presentation, and I will offer a free radon test for you. And I really want to make sure that you're safe. So keep that in mind.
Awesome. Sounds good. One thing I wanted to just mention to everyone as a seller, 1% of the purchase price, it could be, of course, anything regarding repairs, but it might be getting your home ready for the actual getting it on the market. It could be including some staging pricing. It could be hiring a cleaning lady to come in and do like a massive spring cleaning. Cleaning is like the most inexpensive way you can get your home ready for the market. And like Mike suggested, even scuff marks around a fresh coat of paint does wonders. It's not that expensive. Other things like if someone, I get one of the biggest questions I get is from sellers is, should we replace the carpet? If it is stained or if it's really worn out, even if it's orange or a color that's not in today's style, I do recommend replacing carpet, because in the end it's inexpensive and it certainly increases your appeal to buyers by 200%. That is pretty much it, you guys, for today. I really do appreciate having spent time with you. I hope you got a lot of good information. Here's our contact information. And just remember, if you have any questions whatsoever, contact your lender and contact your real estate agent. We look forward to possibly working with you, and we will be out there and you can see us on YouTube. Thank you.